My son's house smelled like vanilla candles and something I couldn't place, something that didn't belong in a birthday party. I stood in the foyer, holding a bottle of wine I'd picked up on the way over, watching Daniel move through the rooms with the kind of energy that made my teeth itch. Too much, too rehearsed. "Dad, let me take your coat." He reached for it before I could answer, already pulling it off my shoulders. "We're so glad you could make it." I'm 67 years old. I've been making it to things for 67 years. The phrasing bothered me, like I was some invalid who needed coaxing out of the house. My wife, Linda, touched my elbow. Light pressure, the kind that means pay attention without saying it out loud. I looked at her face and saw nothing unusual. Calm, composed. The same expression she wore when she beat me at poker. "Happy birthday, Mr. Thompson." My daughter-in-law, Rachel, appeared from the kitchen with a tray of appetizers. She smiled with her mouth, but not her eyes. I'd noticed that about Rachel over the years. She smiled a lot without meaning any of it. "Thanks." I took a stuffed mushroom I didn't want. Daniel clapped his hands together. "Let me move your car to the back. Street parking's terrible tonight." "I can move it myself." No, I insist. You're the birthday boy." He held out his hand, fingers wiggling for the keys. Linda's hand tightened on my elbow. Not much, just enough. I pulled the keys from my pocket and dropped them in Daniel's palm. He closed his fist around them fast, like I might change my mind, and disappeared out the front door. The house looked different. Daniel and Rachel had renovated it 6 months ago, knocking down walls and putting in those open concept spaces that make everything echo. Modern, expensive, the kind of house that appeared in magazines with captions about bringing elegance to suburban living. It still smelled like fresh paint under the vanilla. "The place looks great," Linda said to Rachel. "Thank you. We wanted to get it perfect before tonight." Rachel set the tray down on the coffee table. Her hands were steady, but there was something in the way she positioned everything. Precise. Controlled. Like she was setting a table for surgery, not a party. I looked around the living room. Decorations hung from the ceiling. Balloons. A banner that said, "Happy 67th" in letters too large for the sentiment. But something was off about the whole setup. The furniture had been moved. The couch sat at an angle I wouldn't have chosen. The chairs faced away from the windows, and the windows themselves. The curtains were drawn, all of them. Heavy fabric that blocked out the evening light completely. "Where is everyone?" I asked. Rachel blinked. "Everyone?" "The other guests." "Oh." She glanced at Daniel, who had just come back inside, slightly out of breath. "They're running late. Traffic." I nodded slowly. Reasonable answer. Except it was Tuesday night at 6:30, and traffic in this neighborhood peaked at 8 in the morning, not dinner time. Daniel wiped his hands on his pants. "Bathroom's upstairs if you need it, Dad. Second door on the left." "I know where your bathroom is." "Right. Of course." He looked at Rachel. Something passed between them. Not words, just a look. The kind married people develop over time, entire conversations compressed into a glance. Linda leaned close to my ear. Her breath was warm. "Take the keys," she whispered. I turned my head slightly. "What?" "Take the keys. We're leaving. Act like nothing's wrong." I thought she was joking. Linda had a dry sense of humor, the kind that caught me off guard even after 43 years of marriage. I smiled and started to say something clever. She didn't smile back. Her face stayed perfectly calm, but her eyes were different, focused, alert. The same look she got when she was calculating poker odds, running numbers in her head while everyone else was drinking and laughing. "Excuse us," Linda said to Rachel, louder now. "I need to show him something in the car." "Oh, but the party?" "Just a minute. We'll be right back." Linda's hand wrapped around my wrist and pulled. Not hard, firm, steady. I followed her toward the front door, my mind trying to catch up with what was happening. Daniel stepped into our path. "Everything okay?" "Fine," Linda said. "Just need to grab something." "I can get it for you." "No." Her voice was pleasant but absolute. "I need to show him myself." Daniel's smile tightened. "It's just that." Linda walked past him, still holding my wrist, and opened the front door. I followed because I didn't know what else to do. Daniel didn't try to stop us. He just stood there, frozen, while Rachel appeared behind him with that same empty smile. Outside, the street was quiet. Too quiet for a Tuesday night, no cars passing, no neighbors outside, the kind of silence that sits heavy on residential streets after dark, broken only by the distant hum of the highway. Linda led me to our car, parked now at the end of the driveway. Daniel must have moved it from the street. She opened the driver's side door, slid in, and locked it immediately. I got in the passenger side, and before I could close my door, she reached across me and locked that too. Linda, what? Look at this. She pulled out her phone, unlocked it, and turned the screen toward me. The image took a moment to register. Video feed. Live. I could see movement, people walking through rooms, our house. The kitchen I'd repainted last spring, the living room where we watched television every night. Strangers were inside. 3 of them. 2 men and a woman. They wore casual clothes, not uniforms, but they moved with purpose. The woman carried a clipboard. One of the men was photographing our furniture. The other was opening drawers in the sideboard. What is this? My voice sounded strange, distant. I set up a camera, Linda said, last week, hidden in the bookshelf. Why would you? Because I found something. She swiped to another screen, an email, not ours, Daniel's account. I recognized his address at the top. The message was dated 3 weeks ago. The subject line read, Next Steps, Guardianship Petition? I stared at the words. They didn't make sense. Guardianship. That was for children, for people who couldn't take care of themselves. Keep reading, Linda said. I scrolled down. The email was from a law firm I didn't recognize. It outlined a process. Steps to establish guardianship over an incapacitated adult. Medical evaluations, witness statements, documentation of cognitive decline. There was an attachment. I clicked it. A PDF labeled Thompson Evaluation Draft. My name was at the top, date of birth, address, and below that, a series of statements, incidents, times I'd supposedly forgotten appointments, missed medications, shown signs of confusion, all lies, every single one. They've been planning this, Linda said quietly, for months. I looked up from the phone, back at the house. Through the window, I could see Daniel and Rachel standing in the living room. They weren't moving, just watching, waiting. He has recordings, Linda continued. I found them on his laptop last month. Edited conversations. He cut together pieces of phone calls to make you sound confused, disoriented. He's been building a case. My hands had gone numb. Why? The house. Your retirement accounts. Everything. She set the phone down in her lap. Once they get guardianship, they control it all. They can sell the house, move the money, put you in a facility. It's legal. Happens more often than you'd think. I couldn't speak, couldn't process. My son, my only child, the boy I'd raised, paid for college, helped with his first car, his first house, his wedding. The birthday party was supposed to be the final piece, Linda said. Get us both here. Keep us contained. Tomorrow morning, they were going to take us to a medical evaluation they'd already arranged. A doctor who'll say whatever they paid him to say. How do you know all this? I've been watching them. She started the engine. I knew something was wrong 2 months ago. Little things. Questions about your memory, comments about your health. They were laying groundwork. The front door of the house opened. Daniel stepped out onto the porch. He raised one hand, waving us back inside. Casual. Friendly. Come on, Dad. Party's waiting. Linda put the car in reverse. Wait, I said. We should what? Go back inside? Let them lock us in? Lock us in? She nodded toward the house. Look at the door. I looked. New hardware. The kind with keypad entry. And through the window, I could see more changes I'd missed before. Locks on the interior doors. The kind that required keys from both sides. They turned it into a cage, Linda said. We go back in there. We don't come out until morning, and by then it'll be too late. She backed out of the driveway. Daniel started walking toward us, his pace quickening. Rachel appeared behind him, phone already in her hand. Calling someone. Police, probably. Or whoever else was part of this. Where are we going? I asked. Anywhere but here. She drove fast, turning onto the main road before Daniel could reach us. I watched in the side mirror as he stopped in the middle of the street, phone to his ear now too. His face had changed. The friendly mask was gone. What I saw instead was something cold, calculating. A stranger's face wearing my son's features. Linda's hands were steady on the wheel, but I could see the tension in her shoulders. I'm sorry, she said. I wanted to tell you sooner, but I needed to be sure. Needed to gather evidence. What evidence? Copies of everything. The emails, the recordings, the fake medical reports. I documented all of it, sent it to someone safe. Who? Martin. My brother. Lives 3 states away. Barely talks to us except at Christmas, but reliable, solid. The kind of man who'd keep a secret and not ask questions until it mattered. What do we do now? I asked. Linda glanced at me. In the dashboard light, her face looked harder than I'd ever seen it, determined. "Now?" she said. "Now we fight back?" Linda drove for 20 minutes, taking random turns, doubling back twice. I watched the mirrors, but no one followed. The street stayed empty behind us. By the time she finally pulled into the parking lot of a 24-hour diner off Route 9, my heart had stopped trying to punch through my ribs. The diner was one of those old aluminum-sided places with red vinyl booths and a neon sign that buzzed when it rained. We'd eaten here once, years ago, after a movie. Daniel was still in high school then. He'd ordered 3 hamburgers and charmed the waitress into giving him free pie. I pushed that memory away. Inside, the place smelled like coffee and fryer grease. 2 truckers sat at the counter, and a teenage couple occupied a corner booth, holding hands across the table. The waitress, a woman in her 50s with tired eyes and efficient movements, waved us toward any open seat. Linda chose the booth farthest from the door, back to the wall. Clear view of both exits. I slid in across from her and realized my hands were shaking. "Coffee?" the waitress asked. "2," Linda said. "And water, please." When the waitress left, Linda pulled out her phone and set it face up on the table between us. The screen was still open to that email, those words, guardianship petition. "Tell me everything," I said. She took a breath. 2 months ago, Rachel called me, said she was worried about you, said you'd forgotten to take your medication 3 times that week. "I don't take medication." "I know. That was the first lie. I didn't catch it immediately, just thought she'd confused you with someone else. But then she mentioned you'd gotten lost driving home from the grocery store." "That never happened." "I know, so I started paying attention. Daniel called next. Casual conversation, asked if I'd noticed any changes in your behavior, memory problems, confusion. I said no, and he got quiet. Not upset, just thoughtful, like he was recalculating something. The waitress brought our coffee. Linda wrapped her hands around the cup, but didn't drink. "After that, I started checking things," she continued. "Daniel had borrowed your laptop 6 weeks ago. Said he needed to look up something quick. Remember?" I did. I'd handed him my laptop without thinking twice. "He installed monitoring software," Linda said. "Recorded your passwords, logged your email activity. I found the program last month when I was updating your browser." "Why were you looking?" "Because I stopped trusting him." She said it flatly. No emotion. Just fact. "Once I found the monitoring software, I kept digging. Found his email exchanges with the law firm. Found recordings he'd made of phone conversations with you. He'd splice them together. Take a sentence from one call, combine it with something from another call, make it sound like you were rambling, incoherent. I tried to remember the phone calls. Couldn't place anything specific, just normal conversations. 'How are you doing, Dad? Everything okay?' 'When was your last doctor's appointment?' Questions designed to be edited, manipulated. 'He hired someone to pose as your doctor's office,' Linda said. 'Called you last month about a follow-up appointment. You told them you just had your physical and everything was fine.' I remember that call. He recorded it, but in his version, the editing makes it sound like you're confused about when your last appointment was. Can't remember basic medical information. It's good work. Professional. If I didn't know the truth, even I might believe it." The coffee was too hot. I drank it anyway, needing something to do with my hands. "The movers," I said. "The people in our house, what are they doing?" "Inventory, appraisals. He's already planning to sell everything. Once he gets guardianship, he becomes your legal representative, can make all decisions on your behalf. Where you live, how your money gets spent, everything. That's not legal. It is, if a judge signs off on it. And judges do, all the time. They see an adult child concerned about their aging parent. They see medical documentation, witness statements from family members. It looks like responsible care. But it's fraud. Prove it." Linda's voice was sharp. "That's the problem. Daniel's been careful. The recordings sound real. The medical reports look official. The lawyer's legitimate. By the time we could contest it, months would pass, maybe years. And in the meantime, we'd be exactly where he wants us." I thought about the house. The locks on the doors, the closed curtains. He was going to keep us there tonight. Yes, the birthday party was cover, get us inside, keep us calm. Tomorrow morning, a car service was supposed to pick us up. Take us to a medical facility for routine evaluation. By noon, there'd be paperwork declaring you incompetent. By afternoon, he'd have emergency guardianship. By evening, our house would be on the market. "How do you know all this?" "Because I found his timeline." She pulled up another document on her phone, a spreadsheet, dates, actions, notes, all laid out with the precision of a military operation. December 17th, birthday party, contain subjects. December 18th, medical evaluation, obtain signatures. December 18th, file emergency petition. December 19th, secure property access. December 20th, begin liquidation. Today was December 17th. He planned everything, I said, down to the minute. The truckers at the counter paid their bill and left. The teenage couple stayed, now sharing a plate of fries. Normal people living normal lives. None of them knew that 3 miles away, my son was turning my house into a crime scene. What's his motivation? I asked. We're not rich. The house is paid off, but it's not worth that much. Retirement accounts are comfortable, not extravagant. He's in debt. Linda scrolled to another document. Bank statements, credit card bills, all in Daniel's name. He borrowed against his business, real estate investments that didn't pan out. He's 3 months behind on his mortgage, 6 months behind on 2 business loans. He's drowning. The numbers were staggering. Nearly $400,000 in debt. And his assets, the renovated house, the expensive cars, the lifestyle he and Rachel projected, were leveraged to the breaking point. Our house and accounts would give him maybe $600,000, Linda said, enough to cover his debts and buy himself breathing room. And us? State facility, Medicaid. Once our money's gone, we'd be someone else's problem. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Not fear anymore, something different, heavier, rage. We're not going to let that happen, I said. Linda looked at me, really looked. Her expression shifted slightly. She'd seen something in my face, something new. No, she said quietly. We're not. We sat in silence for a long moment. The diner's fluorescent lights hummed overhead. Somewhere in the back, a cook whistled tunelessly. Normal sounds, the world continuing while mine fell apart. Who else knows? I asked. No one. I couldn't risk it. Daniel has friends, people who'd tell him if we started making accusations. So we're alone. We have Martin. I sent him copies of everything. If something happens to us, he has instructions to go to the authorities. Good. I paused. What else? What do you mean? What else did you do? You're too calm for someone who just found out their son is trying to destroy their life. You have a plan. Linda smiled, small, grim. I might? Tell me. She glanced around the diner, confirming we were still alone, then leaned forward. Daniel thinks he's 10 steps ahead, but he made mistakes. Small ones, the kind you make when you're too confident. Like what? Like assuming I'm just the worried wife, the background character. He focused all his attention on building a case against you, documented your supposed decline, manufactured evidence, but he barely paid attention to me. So? So I've been gathering my own evidence. Real evidence. His financial records, his communications with the law firm, his edited recordings versus the originals, everything. And I've been documenting his behavior, the lies, the manipulation, the fraud. That's good, but it's not enough. Is it? Linda shook her head. Not yet. Because proving fraud takes time, lawyers, court dates, months of hearings. And Daniel will be working against us the whole time, poisoning witnesses, hiding assets. He's got momentum. Then what do? We take away his momentum. She pulled up another file on her phone. This one was different, not documents, names, addresses, businesses. Daniel's debts aren't random. He borrowed from specific people, made promises. If those people knew he was about to lose everything, that his plan was falling apart, they'd stop waiting for payment. You want to tell his creditors. I want to make sure they know exactly how unstable his situation is, how close he is to bankruptcy. People get nervous when they think they're about to lose money. They make demands, apply pressure, file lawsuits. That'll destroy him financially. Yes. Good. Linda closed the phone and set it face down on the table. There's more, but it requires getting into places Daniel thinks are secure. His office, his files, his communications. I can't do that alone. I'll help. It's risky. He tried to lock us in a cage. My voice came out harder than I'd intended. I don't care about risk anymore. Linda studied me for a long moment, then nodded. Okay, but we need to be smart, careful. Daniel's going to realize we're not coming back. He'll try to control the narrative, paint us as confused, unstable, running away because we're scared or senile. How do we stop that? We don't. We let him think whatever he wants. While he's focused on finding us, we're building a case, not just legal, practical. We hit him where it hurts, finances, reputation, relationships. We take apart his life the way he tried to take apart ours. It sounded extreme, vindictive, exactly the kind of thing I'd have objected to a few hours ago. Now it sounded perfect. When do we start? I asked. Linda checked her watch. Now, we have maybe 12 hours before he locks down everything. After that, it gets harder. She stood, dropped cash on the table for the coffee, and headed for the door. I followed. Outside, the night air was cold and clear. Stars were visible, something you couldn't see from our neighborhood anymore. Light pollution. I looked up at them and thought about Daniel, about the boy I'd raised, the man he'd become. Somewhere along the way, I'd stopped paying attention, stopped seeing the signs. Maybe I'd ignored them. Maybe I'd wanted to believe my son was better than he was. That was over now. Where to first? I asked. Linda unlocked the car. Storage facility. Off Route 22. Daniel rents a unit there. He thinks I don't know about it. How did you find out? Rachel told me. She started the engine. 6 months ago, before she and Daniel got serious about this plan, she mentioned it casually, said they were storing business documents. I wrote down the facility name and unit number, just in case. Just in case of what? This. Morning brought rain. Heavy, steady, the kind that turned parking lots into lakes and made everything gray. Linda and I ate breakfast at a diner 3 miles from the motel. Different one than before. She was being careful about patterns, not staying anywhere twice, not becoming predictable. The television above the counter played morning news. The segment about Daniel had gone viral overnight. Social media was discussing it. Comments ranged from outrage to schadenfreude. People loved watching success stories collapse, especially when fraud was involved. You think he's seen it? I asked. Definitely. Linda sipped her coffee. He's probably spent all night trying to control the narrative, calling friends, spinning explanations. It won't help. My phone buzzed. Text from Rachel. We need to talk. Please. This is getting out of control. I showed Linda. She read it and shook her head. Don't respond. She's trying to create dialogue, make us seem reasonable, negotiable. We're past that. What if she's genuine? She's not. Rachel's smart. She's protecting herself, trying to establish distance from Daniel before everything burns. The phone buzzed again. Another text. I didn't know what he was planning. You have to believe that. I just wanted you to be safe. I almost laughed. The lies were getting weaker, more desperate. Linda paid the check, and we left. Outside, the rain had intensified. We ran to the car, soaked within seconds. Linda drove without a clear destination, taking random turns, keeping us mobile. Where are we going? I asked. Not sure yet. Waiting to see how Daniel reacts. Her phone rang. She answered on speaker. Martin. You two okay? Fine. Watching the news. It's everywhere. Daniel's business is imploding. 3 major clients canceled contracts this morning. His bank froze his accounts. Commercial property landlords starting eviction proceedings. That was quick. That's what happens when everyone realizes they've been lied to simultaneously. System moves fast when it wants to. What about the guardianship case? Lawyer dropped him, filed withdrawal with the court. Linda smiled, small, satisfied. Good. But there's something else, Martin continued. I've been monitoring Daniel's communications. He's planning something. What? Not sure, but he's made several calls to people outside your area. Philadelphia, Baltimore, people with no obvious connection to his business. What kind of people? I couldn't identify all of them, but one number traces to a private investigation firm, another to a company that does reputation management. Linda's expression hardened. He's hiring help. That's what it looks like. To do what? Best guess? Build a counter-narrative. Create evidence that you two are actually unstable. Dangerous, even. Make himself look like the victim. That won't work, I said. We have documentation. Doesn't matter, Martin said. Court of public opinion doesn't care about facts. Just about which story sounds better. Daniel's got resources. Even with his accounts frozen, he's got access to credit. Friends who'll loan him money. He can hire professionals to muddy the waters. Linda pulled into an empty parking lot and stopped the car. What do we do? Stay ahead of him. Keep building your case. I'll track his communications. Let you know if anything changes. Thanks, Martin. She ended the call. We sat listening to rain drum against the car roof. He's not giving up, I said. No, he's escalating. We could go public, tell our story. Media's already interested. That's exactly what he wants. Gets us to make accusations publicly, then he produces his manufactured evidence. Makes us look paranoid, unstable. The whole strategy falls apart. Then what? We let him dig deeper, make more mistakes. Every action he takes now, he's doing from a position of desperation. Desperate people slip up. My phone rang. Unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. Is this Mr. Thompson? Woman's voice. Professional. Yes. This is Detective Sarah Holland with the County Police Department. I'd like to speak with you about a report we received. My stomach dropped. What kind of report? Your son filed a missing persons report. Says you and your wife left his home 2 nights ago and haven't been in contact. He's concerned for your safety. I looked at Linda. She was listening. Her face remained calm. I'm not missing, I said. I left voluntarily. I'm safe. I understand. But given your age and some medical concerns your son mentioned, we need to verify your well-being. Can you come to the station? What medical concerns? Your son indicated you've been experiencing memory problems, confusion. He's worried you might be having some kind of episode. The fabricated evidence. Daniel was using it with the police now, creating an official record of my supposed incompetence. Detective, my son is lying. He's been lying about everything. I'm perfectly healthy. I'm sure you are, but I still need to see you in person. Verify your condition. It's procedure. Linda shook her head vigorously. Can it wait until tomorrow? I asked. We're dealing with some personal matters. I'd prefer to see you today. Where are you currently located? I'd rather not say. Pause. Sir, you understand how that sounds. Your son's worried. You're refusing to say where you are. It raises concerns. My son is not worried. He's trying to manipulate you into doing his work for him. That's a serious accusation. It's a true one. Give me 24 hours. I'll come to the station with documentation proving everything I'm saying. Longer pause. All right, 24 hours. But if you don't show, we'll be looking for you, and that becomes a different situation. Understood? I hung up. Linda was already pulling out of the parking lot. That was smart, she said. Buying time. What happens when I don't show up? You will show up. With me, with Martin, with a lawyer, and with every piece of evidence we've collected. We turn it into a formal statement. Make sure the police understand what Daniel's been doing. And if they don't believe us? They will. The evidence is overwhelming. Daniel's lies are documented. His fraud is provable. Even if the police are initially skeptical, they'll investigate. And once they do, everything falls apart for him. She drove for another 20 minutes before pulling into a strip mall. Law offices, small firms, the kind that handled wills and traffic tickets, not major cases. But Linda seemed to know where she was going. Wait here, she said. She went into one of the offices, returned 15 minutes later with a business card and a satisfied expression. Lawyer? I asked. Yes, friend of Martin's. He's agreed to represent us. Said he'll meet us at the police station tomorrow. No fee until the case resolves. Why would he do that? Because Martin sent him the evidence. He knows Daniel's guilty. Figures he'll get paid when we sue for damages. Smart. Everyone working their own angle. But at least this angle aligned with ours. Linda drove us to a different motel. Paid cash again. Room on the second floor this time, overlooking the parking lot. She positioned the rental car where we could see it from the window. We staying here tonight? I asked. Just a few hours. I want to give Daniel time to make his next move. Once we see what he does, we adjust. We waited. Linda on her laptop, monitoring emails and checking news sites. Me watching television with the sound off. Local coverage had moved on from Daniel's story, but online it was still trending. People were digging into his background, finding other instances of questionable behavior. Business deals that looked suspicious in retrospect. Around 6, Linda's phone buzzed. Email from Martin. Subject line, "You need to see this." She opened it. I looked over her shoulder. Martin had intercepted an email from Daniel to someone named Trevor Marks. The message was brief. Parents are interfering. Need leverage, fast, whatever it costs. Who's Trevor Marks? I asked. Linda was already searching, found a website, private investigation services, corporate security, discrete solutions for complex problems. He's hiring an investigator. Or worse, Linda said. That kind of firm does more than investigate. They do pressure campaigns, intimidation. They're legal, but barely. What can they do? Depends on what Daniel's willing to pay for. Surveillance, following us, documenting everything we do, looking for something to use against us. They might try to provoke a confrontation, get us angry on camera, make us look unstable. That's insane. That's desperate. Linda closed the laptop. We need to move. Now. We packed quickly. Left the motel. Linda drove fast, taking side streets, avoiding main roads. She kept checking mirrors, looking for followers. You think they're already on us? I asked. Don't know, but we're not waiting to find out. We drove for an hour, ended up in a different county entirely. Small town, population 8,000 according to the sign. Linda found a motel that looked like it hadn't been updated since 1985. Perfect. The kind of place that didn't ask questions and didn't have computer records. The clerk barely looked at us, just took Linda's cash and handed over a key. Inside the room, Linda closed the blinds and sat on the bed. Tomorrow we go to the police, but tonight we need a plan for handling Daniel's investigator. What plan? We can't avoid being followed. We can't prevent surveillance. What we can do is control what they see. Give them nothing usable. No angry outbursts, no suspicious behavior. We act like a normal retired couple dealing with normal problems. We're not normal. They don't need to know that. My phone rang. Daniel again. Linda nodded. I answered. What do you want? To fix this. His voice was different. Softer. Almost pleading. Dad, please, let's talk. Face to face. No lawyers, no police, just you and me. Why would I do that? Because I'm your son. Because we can work this out. I made mistakes, I'll admit that. But we're family. That has to count for something. It counted. Past tense. You destroyed it when you decided to steal my life. I wasn't stealing anything. I was trying to help. Stop lying. Even now you can't stop lying. The guardianship petition was about helping me? The fake medical reports? The edited recordings? Silence. You built an entire criminal enterprise around destroying me, I continued. You coordinated with Rachel, hired a lawyer, planned every detail. That wasn't help. That was calculated theft. You don't understand the pressure I was under. I don't care. The debts weren't my fault. The business deals went bad. The market shifted. You needed to lie, to steal, to betray the people who raised you. Those were choices. Your choices. Please. His voice cracked. Dad, please. I'm losing everything. The business is gone. Rachel left this morning. Creditors are seizing my accounts. I've got nothing left. Good. That's all you have to say? Good? Yes, because you earned this. Every consequence, every loss. You made a choice to destroy me. I'm making a choice to let you face the results. I'm your son. You were my son. Now you're just someone who tried to ruin my life and failed. I hung up. My hands were shaking. Linda took the phone and set it aside. That was necessary, she said. Doesn't feel good. It's not supposed to. But you told him the truth. No more pretending, no more excuses. We sat in silence. Outside, traffic passed occasionally. Normal life continuing while ours had derailed completely. What happens after tomorrow? I asked. Depends. If the police take our statement seriously, they'll investigate. Might bring charges, fraud, identity theft, elder abuse. Daniel could face prison time. And if they don't? We go civil. Sue him. Take whatever assets remain. Make sure he can't recover. Either way, he's finished. The hollow feeling returned. Stronger now. I was about to destroy my son's life. Permanently. No coming back. No redemption. Linda saw my face. Second thoughts? Yes. That makes you human. But don't let it stop you. He wouldn't have hesitated. Wouldn't have shown you mercy. And he'll do this to someone else if we don't stop him. She was right. But being right didn't make it easier. We turned off the lights. Tried to sleep. The rain had started again. Steady drum against the windows. White noise that should have been soothing, but wasn't. Tomorrow, we'd face Daniel in front of the police. Present our evidence. Watch his lies crumble. And I'd have to look at my son while it happened. See his face as everything ended. I closed my eyes and hoped I'd have the strength. Morning came gray and cold. Linda was already awake when I opened my eyes. She stood at the window, peering through a gap in the curtains. Anything? I asked. White sedan, parked across the street, same one I saw at the gas station last night. I got up and looked. The car sat at an angle that gave its occupant a clear view of our motel door. Windows tinted, engine running, exhaust visible in the cold air. Daniel's investigator? Probably. They picked us up sometime yesterday evening, been following us since. What do we do? Nothing. Let them watch. We've got nothing to hide. We got ready quickly. Linda had mapped the route to the police station. 20 minutes away. She'd called the lawyer, who'd agreed to meet us there at 9. We left the room at 8:30. The white sedan pulled out behind us. Not subtly, they wanted us to know we were being followed. Psychological pressure, make us nervous, prone to mistakes. Linda drove steadily, obeying traffic laws, taking the most direct route. Professional, calm. Behind us, the sedan matched our pace. I watched it in the side mirror. Couldn't see the driver clearly. Just a shape behind tinted glass. They're documenting everything, Linda said. Looking for anything they can use, so we give them nothing. Normal driving, normal behavior. Just two people going to the police station. We arrived at 8:50. The station was a modern building, glass and steel, designed to look friendly, approachable. The parking lot was half full. Linda chose a spot near the entrance. The white sedan parked 3 rows away, still watching. A man in a gray suit approached us before we reached the doors. 50s, average height, professional handshake. Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, I'm David Chen, Martin's friend. I'll be representing you this morning. Not Chen. The outline said avoid that name, but it didn't matter. He was here, prepared. We went inside together. The lobby was clean, bright. A desk sergeant looked up as we entered. We're here to see Detective Holland, Linda said. We have an appointment. The sergeant made a call. 2 minutes later, a woman emerged from a side hallway, 30s, sharp eyes, professional demeanor. Mr. Thompson, Mrs. Thompson, I'm Detective Holland. Thank you for coming in. We followed her to an interview room. Small, table, 4 chairs, one-way mirror on the wall. The lawyer sat next to me. Linda next to the lawyer. Holland across from us, notepad ready. Before we begin, the lawyer said, I want to establish that my clients are here voluntarily. They're not under investigation. They're providing information about a crime committed against them. Holland nodded. Understood. Mr. Thompson, your son filed a missing persons report. Claimed you left his home and he was concerned for your safety. Can you clarify what happened? I told her. Everything, starting with the birthday party. The whispered warning. The video feed showing strangers in our house. The locked doors. The escape. Then Linda took over. Explained her investigation. The monitoring software. The fabricated medical reports. The edited recordings. The guardianship petition. The financial fraud. The lawyer produced documents. Printed evidence. Bank statements. Emails. Audio files. Everything we'd collected from the storage unit and Daniel's office. Holland listened without interrupting. Took notes. Her expression remained neutral, but I saw her eyes widen when Linda played the audio comparison. Original recording versus edited version. The difference was stark. This is extensive, Holland said when we finished. You're saying your son planned to fraudulently obtain guardianship in order to access your assets? That's exactly what we're saying, Linda replied. And we can prove every piece of it. Why come to us now? Why wait 2 days? Because we needed to protect ourselves first. Daniel had planned everything carefully. If we'd come directly to you, he might have convinced you we were actually incompetent, confused. The edited recordings are very convincing. We needed time to gather real evidence, build a bulletproof case. Holland reviewed the documents again, compared email timestamps, checked the audio files, finally looked up. This is criminal fraud, elder abuse, identity theft, multiple felonies. Yes, the lawyer said. We're prepared to file formal charges. But first, we wanted to make sure you had all the facts, so you understand the context when Daniel inevitably tries to file his own reports. What kind of reports? Accusations that my clients are unstable, dangerous perhaps. He's desperate. His plan fell apart. His business is imploding. He'll try anything to shift blame. Holland set down her pen. We've actually received another call from Daniel this morning. Said he was worried you might try to harm him, that your behavior had become erratic and threatening. There it is, Linda said. He's trying to paint us as the aggressors. Make himself the victim. Is there any truth to his concerns? None. We haven't contacted him except to inform his creditors and business associates of his fraud. We haven't threatened him, haven't gone near him. The only thing we've done is protect ourselves and document his crimes. Holland pulled out her phone and made a call. Captain, I need you in interview room 2. We've got something significant. 5 minutes later, a man in uniform entered. Captain's bars, gray hair, tired eyes that had seen too much. Holland briefed him quickly, showed him the evidence. He listened with the same neutral expression. You have recordings of the originals? He asked Linda. Yes, all on a secure server. Martin, my brother-in-law, has copies as well. We documented everything. And you broke into your son's office and storage unit to gather this? The lawyer spoke up. My clients were investigating a crime committed against them. Any irregularities in how evidence was gathered are secondary to the fact that the evidence exists and proves systematic fraud. The captain considered this. We'll need to investigate. Interview Daniel. Verify the documents. This isn't something we can process immediately. We understand, I said. But we wanted you to have the full picture. So when Daniel tries to manipulate you, and he will, you'll know the truth. Appreciated. The captain turned to Holland. Start the investigation. Interview the son. Review everything they've provided. I want a preliminary report by end of day. Holland nodded. The captain left. This will take time, Holland said to us. We'll need to verify your claims, contact the law firm, review the audio files with experts, interview witnesses. It's a process. How long? Linda asked. Weeks, maybe months. Meanwhile, Daniel's free to continue harassing us? If you feel threatened, we can issue a restraining order. I keep him away from you, from your property. Do it, I said. Holland made notes. I'll file the request this afternoon. Should be granted within 48 hours. In the meantime, avoid contact with him. Document any attempts he makes to reach you. And if anything happens, anything at all, call me immediately. She handed us business cards. We thanked her and left. Outside, the white sedan was still in the parking lot, still watching. And they know we filed a report, Linda said. They'll tell Daniel. Good. Let him panic more. The lawyer walked us to our car. That went well. Detective seemed receptive. The evidence is strong. I think you'll get a positive outcome. What about Daniel's counter-accusations? I asked. They'll investigate those too, but they won't find anything because there's nothing to find. Your story is consistent. Your evidence is documented. His is fabricated. Truth wins. We got in the car. The white sedan followed us out of the parking lot. Stayed 3 cars back. Professional distance. Linda drove us to a different town, different motel, paid cash. We were getting good at this, living like fugitives even though we'd done nothing wrong. Inside the room, Linda collapsed on the bed. I'm exhausted. Me too. But we did it. We got ahead of his narrative. Now the police know the truth. My phone rang. Private number. I answered cautiously. Mr. Thompson? Man's voice. Unfamiliar. Yes. This is Trevor Marks. I've been retained by your son to look into some concerns about your well-being. The investigator. Calling directly now. I don't need you to look into anything. I'm fine. I'm sure you believe that, but Daniel's worried. Says I've been acting strangely, making accusations. He wants to help. Daniel wants to help himself, and you're helping him do it. I'm just trying to get to the truth. The truth is with the police. Detective Holland, County Station. She has all the evidence. If you want truth, go talk to her. I will, but I'd like to hear your side first. Can we meet? No. Mr. Thompson. You're being paid to manufacture a narrative, to make me look unstable. It won't work. I've documented everything. You have no leverage. I'm not trying to manufacture anything. I'm just doing my job. Your job is to help a criminal cover his tracks. I'm not participating in that. I hung up. Linda was watching me. He's trying to get inside your head, she said. Make you doubt yourself. Second guess? Don't let him. I won't. But the call bothered me. The investigator's tone. Professional, reasonable, like he was actually trying to help, designed to create doubt, make me wonder if maybe I was overreacting, being paranoid. I knew I wasn't. The evidence proved it. But that small seed of doubt, that's what people like Trevor Marks planted. Their specialty. What do we do now? I asked. We wait. Let the investigation proceed. Let Daniel's situation deteriorate further, and we stay ready for his next move. You think there'll be another move? I know there will. He's cornered, desperate. People in that state do unpredictable things. She was right. We'd backed Daniel into a position with no good options, no escape route, and animals were most dangerous when cornered. We ordered food delivery, ate in silence, watched television without really watching, just waiting for whatever came next. Around 8 that evening, my phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. You've destroyed my life. I hope you're happy. Daniel, using a different number, probably a burner phone. I showed Linda. She read it and deleted it. Don't respond. He's trying to engage, make you feel guilty. It's manipulation. Another text arrived. Rachel's gone. Business is finished. You've taken everything. Delete. Third text. I was trying to help you. You're too old to manage things yourself. I was protecting you. Delete. Fourth text. This isn't over. That one made my stomach tighten, not because of the words themselves, but because of what they implied. Daniel wasn't accepting defeat, wasn't walking away. He was planning something else. We need to be more careful, Linda said. That's a threat. What can he do? He's broke, under investigation, his reputation's destroyed. Desperate people find ways. Money, resources, reputation, none of that matters when someone's willing to do anything. You think he'd get violent? I think he's unpredictable, and that makes him dangerous. We locked the door, put the chain on. Linda positioned a chair under the handle. Extra security, probably unnecessary, but it helped her sleep. I lay awake long after she'd drifted off, thinking about Daniel, about the boy he'd been, the man he'd become, trying to pinpoint where it went wrong, what I'd missed, what I could have done differently. But there were no answers. Just the reality of what had happened, and what was still coming. Because Linda was right. Daniel's threat wasn't empty. He had one more move left. And tomorrow, we'd find out what it was. The next morning started quietly. Too quietly. Linda and I had breakfast at a small diner near the motel. Coffee and toast. Nothing elaborate. We were both tired of running, tired of looking over our shoulders. The white sedan hadn't followed us. I'd checked multiple times. Either they'd given up, or they were better at hiding. Something feels wrong, Linda said, stirring her coffee. What? Daniel. Radio silence since those texts last night. No calls, no more messages. He's planning something. Maybe he's finally accepted it's over. You don't believe that. I didn't. Daniel wasn't the type to accept defeat. He'd proven that much. Whatever move he had left, he was saving it, timing it, waiting for maximum impact. My phone rang. Detective Holland. Mr. Thompson, we've been trying to locate your son. He's not at his home or office. Do you know where he might be? No. Why? We need to interview him, but he's not responding to calls. His wife says she hasn't seen him since yesterday morning. Rachel's talking to you? She came in this morning, voluntarily, said she wants to cooperate fully with the investigation. She's providing additional documentation about Daniel's financial activities. Smart. Rachel was protecting herself, getting ahead of any accusations, positioning herself as a helpful witness rather than an accomplice. What did she tell you? I asked. That Daniel became obsessed with your assets about 6 months ago, that the guardianship plan was entirely his idea. She claims she tried to talk him out of it, but he wouldn't listen. Says she's terrified of him now, worried about what he might do. Is she credible? Her story matches the evidence, and she's providing documents we didn't have before, emails, text messages, planning notes. It's all very detailed. So Rachel was burning Daniel completely, cutting all ties, saving herself by throwing him under the bus. Ruthless. Effective. Do you think Daniel's dangerous? Holland asked. I don't know. 2 days ago, I would have said no. Now? I don't know what he's capable of. If you see him or hear from him, call me immediately. Don't engage. Understood. I hung up and told Linda. She processed the information quickly. Rachel's flipping. Smart move on her part, but it means Daniel's completely isolated. No allies, no support. That makes him more dangerous, not less. What do? We find him before he finds us. How? We think like him. Where would he go? What would he do? He's got no money, no resources, no friends willing to help, but he's still got rage, still got pride. He'll want some kind of confrontation, some way to make us pay. I thought about it. Daniel's options were limited. He couldn't access his accounts, couldn't go back to his house. Rachel would have changed the locks, couldn't rely on business contacts. Everyone had turned against him. He'd go somewhere familiar, I said, somewhere he feels safe. Like where? The storage unit. It's paid through the end of the year. He might not know we've been inside, might think it's still secure. Linda grabbed her keys. Let's go. We drove fast, 40 minutes to the storage facility, the same route Linda had taken before. This time we entered through the front gate. Linda used a code she'd memorized from seeing it entered during her previous surveillance. Morning brought clarity. Not peace, but clarity. Linda and I ate breakfast in the hotel restaurant. Real food, hot coffee, the first normal meal we'd had in days. Detective Holland wants us back at the station this afternoon, Linda said, checking her phone. Final statements. Paperwork. The formal stuff. Then what? Then we wait. Investigation takes time. Daniel's arraignment is scheduled for next week. We'll need to be there, testify about what happened. I nodded, pushed eggs around my plate without much appetite. Across the room, a family with young children laughed over pancakes. Normal life, the kind we used to have. Martin found us a lawyer, Linda continued. Specialist in elder abuse cases. She wants to discuss a civil suit against Daniel, recover damages, medical costs, emotional distress. I don't want money from him. It's not about money. It's about making sure he can't do this to anyone else. If he's financially destroyed, he can't rebuild and target another victim. He's my son. He was your son. Right now, he's someone who tried to steal your life. Stop thinking of him as family. Start thinking of him as a criminal who happens to share your DNA. Harsh. True, but harsh. We finished breakfast and drove to the police station. Same building as before, same parking lot. Different energy now. We weren't desperate anymore, weren't running. We were just two citizens helping with an investigation. Inside, Detective Holland met us with a smile. Professional but genuine. Thank you for coming. We've made significant progress. Daniel's been cooperative during questioning. What did he say? I asked. Admitted to most of it. The monitoring software. The fabricated medical reports, the guardianship plan. He's claiming it was financial desperation, not malicious intent. Thinks that'll help his case. Will it? No, intent doesn't matter for most of these charges. He committed fraud, elder abuse, multiple felonies. He'll be convicted. We sat in the same interview room, gave formal statements, signed documents. Holland walked us through every detail, made sure everything was documented properly. One more thing, she said as we finished. Rachel's lawyer contacted us. She's filing for divorce. Wants to make sure the record shows she's cooperating fully with the investigation, separating herself from Daniel legally and financially. Smart, Linda said. Very. She's also provided information about Daniel's other business activities, things we hadn't uncovered yet. Turns out he was skimming from multiple clients, not just the ones we knew about. How much total? Over 200,000, spread across a dozen accounts. He was systematically defrauding anyone who trusted him. I felt sick. This wasn't just desperation. This was pathological. Years of lying and stealing, building a life on other people's money and trust. When did it start? I asked. Hard to say. Rachel claims it's been going on for at least 3 years, maybe longer. She only found out recently. Says she confronted him and he promised to stop. Obviously, he didn't. So Rachel's cooperation wasn't just self-protection, it was revenge. Daniel had lied to her too, used her, made her complicit in crimes she hadn't fully understood, and now she was burning him for it. We left the station around 3. Linda drove us back to the hotel. We had nowhere else to be, no home to return to. Daniel's creditors had already started proceedings to seize our house as part of recovering his debts. Everything was tied up in legal tangles. We need to find a place, Linda said. Somewhere temporary, until this resolves. Where? Martin's offering his guest house. Said we can stay as long as we need. It's 3 states away. Good distance from everything here. Running again? Not running. Relocating. Strategic retreat until the dust settles. It made sense. Stay close and we'd be constantly reminded. Constantly dragged back into the mess. Distance would help. Perspective. Time to process. Okay, I said. When do we leave? Tomorrow. I'll make arrangements tonight. We spent the evening packing our few belongings. Everything we owned now fit in 2 suitcases. Our entire lives reduced to clothes and documents. Everything else, furniture, photos, keepsakes, still tied up in the legal nightmare. At around 9, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me. Dad? Daniel, calling from jail. Yes. I need you to hear something. Before everything's finalized. Before you testify. I'm listening. I'm sorry. His voice cracked. I'm so sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything, doesn't undo the damage. But I need you to know, I never wanted it to go this far. Never wanted to hurt you. But you did. I know. I convinced myself it was justified, that I was helping, that you'd understand eventually. I was lying to myself. I see that now. Too late, but I see it. I didn't respond, didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to accept the apology, find some path toward forgiveness. Another part was still too angry, too hurt. The prosecutor offered a plea deal. Daniel continued. 7 years. If I plead guilty to all charges, if I cooperate fully, testify against the lawyer who helped me, against the investigator, everyone. Are you taking it? I don't know. 7 years is a long time, but fighting it means a trial. Means dragging everything out, making you testify publicly. I don't want to put you through that. Don't do me any favors. I'm not. I'm trying to figure out who I am now. What's left after everything else burns away. And I keep coming back to the fact that I hurt you. You and Mom. The two people who loved me most. And I did it deliberately, methodically. That's not who I thought I was. But it's who I am. And I have to live with that. Yes, you do. I know you can't forgive me. I'm not asking for that. Just wanted you to know I understand what I did, what I destroyed. I'll live with that knowledge for the rest of my life, however long that is. Good. Goodbye, Dad. He hung up. I sat holding the phone. Linda looked at me. That sounded difficult, she said. He apologized. Do you believe him? I don't know. Maybe. He sounded genuine. Genuine regret after getting caught isn't the same as genuine morality. He's sorry because he lost, not because what he did was wrong. You don't know that. I do, because if he thought it was wrong, he wouldn't have done it in the first place. He knew the whole time. He just didn't care until he faced consequences. She was probably right, but some small part of me wanted to believe Daniel had actually changed, actually learned something, even if it was too late to matter. We left the next morning. 3-hour drive to Martin's place. Rural area, small town, the kind of place where everyone knew everyone and strangers were obvious. Martin's guest house was perfect. 2 bedrooms, full kitchen, completely separate from the main house. Privacy without isolation. Martin greeted us with beer and sandwiches, gave us space to settle in, didn't ask questions, just offered support. Stay as long as you need, he said. No rush, no pressure, just heal. Over the next week, we fell into routine. Quiet mornings, long walks, simple meals, no television, no news, just distance and time. Detective Holland called twice. Updates on the investigation. Daniel had taken the plea deal. 7 years federal prison. Cooperation with ongoing investigations into the law firm and private investigator. Rachel's divorce was proceeding. She'd gotten a temporary restraining order. Changed her name back. Wiped Daniel from her life like erasing a mistake. The civil suit was moving forward. Our lawyer was confident we'd recover significant damages. Not that it mattered. Money couldn't undo what had happened. Couldn't restore the trust. Couldn't give us back the son we'd thought we had. One evening, Linda and I sat on Martin's back porch, watching sunset over farmland. Peaceful, quiet. Do you regret it? I asked. What? Fighting back. Destroying him. We could have just walked away. Disappeared. Started over somewhere else. And let him do this to the next victim, to some other elderly couple who wouldn't see it coming? No, I don't regret it. But he's in prison, where he belongs. He committed crimes, multiple crimes, against us and others. Justice isn't revenge, it's consequences. Doesn't feel like justice. That's because he's your son. You're supposed to protect him, supposed to fix his problems. But you can't, not this time. This time he has to face what he did. I nodded. She was right. Again, she'd been right about everything. Seen the danger before I did. Gathered evidence, built the case, saved us both. Thank you, I said. For what? For being smarter than me. For seeing what I couldn't. For protecting us when I didn't know we needed protecting. That's what partners do. We protect each other. We sat in comfortable silence. The sun finished setting. Stars appeared, clear and bright in the rural darkness. Nothing like the light-polluted sky back home. Home. That word didn't mean what it used to. Home was wherever Linda was. The rest was just location. My phone buzzed. Email from the lawyer. Subject, settlement offer. I opened it. Daniel's remaining assets, liquidated by court order, totaled about $80,000. The court was offering us full recovery plus legal fees, all of it. They want us to take a settlement, I told Linda. Should we? What's the alternative? Prolonged litigation. Years of court dates, depositions, stress, for maybe another $20,000 in damages. Doesn't seem worth it. Agreed, I replied to the lawyer. Accept the settlement. Close everything out. Move forward. 3 days later, the money hit our account. $86,000. Everything Daniel had left. We used half to rent a small house 2 towns over from Martin. Used the rest to furnish it simply, Started building a new life with new patterns. Weeks passed, then months. The investigation concluded. Daniel was sentenced, transferred to federal prison, 3 states away. Far enough that visiting would be a deliberate choice, not an impulse. Linda and I never discussed whether to visit. The answer was obvious. We wouldn't, not yet, maybe not ever. The wound was too fresh, the betrayal too complete. Sometimes I thought about him, wondered how he was adapting to prison, whether he was safe, whether he thought about us, but I didn't dwell on it. Couldn't let myself fall into that trap. Linda was right. He'd made choices, adult choices, and now he was living with consequences. That was justice, even if it didn't feel satisfying. Spring arrived. We planted a garden, small vegetables, herbs, something to occupy our hands and minds, something growing, alive, forward-focused. One afternoon, Martin stopped by with his wife. We had dinner together, laughed, told stories, normal family things, the kind we'd thought we'd lost. "You two seem better," Martin said as they were leaving. "We're getting there," Linda replied. "Day by day. That's all anyone can do." After they left, Linda and I sat on our porch. Different porch, different house, different life, but together. "Strange how things work out," I said. "How so?" "We lost everything. House, money, son, but somehow we're okay. Maybe better than okay. Because we have what matters. Each other, health, freedom, everything else is just stuff." She was right. Again, always right. The sun set. We went inside, made tea, read books in comfortable silence, the kind of evening we'd have 1,000 more times. Building a new normal, creating new memories to replace the painful ones, and somewhere, in a federal prison 3 states away, Daniel was doing the same. Building a new normal, creating new patterns, living with what he'd done. I hoped he found peace eventually, hoped he learned something, became someone better. But I didn't need to see it, didn't need to be part of that journey. My journey was here, with Linda, with the life we were rebuilding, with the future we were creating. That was enough.